Hey, just landed in Leek, which appears to be one of those places that doesn't tell you where it is until you actually arrive in it. So I'm off to try and find the collectibles store. I have never been here before, so I don't know where I'm going, but according to my sat nav, I should be just up the road from it. And I have exactly 43 minutes remaining of parking. So I might have to come back and move the car at some point, but I'm going to go have a little recon first, and you'll see how I get on shortly. Cheers for now. Okay, so here we are in Leek. And this took a bit of getting to. I went over hill and down dale on this one, but that was absolutely fine. Didn't mind that in the slightest. A very pretty drive. And arrived at Classic Collectables, which has a very fetching sort of window display of all sorts. But as you can immediately see, we're talking about a lot of boxed items, and yet it's a teeny tiny store. It really is teeny tiny. It's probably about half the size of Mel's Collectables, and yet we've got Metroplexes, we've got Snow Speeders, we've got Visionaries. I mean, this is properly my era. That is a kit model, a 22-inch kit model of an eagle suspended from the ceiling there. I had to laugh because someone came into the store and asked if that was from Blake 7, and I said no. couldn't help myself. But anyway, really impressive Thunderbird 3 lurking there, which apparently is a Product Enterprise version. You got Slave 1, got Starbird up the top there. Girl Starbird, actual box Starbird. Somebody actually has one in their store. We've got a bit of He-Man action going on there on Battle Cat. And I think there's a Skeletor lurking around there as well. And again, Action Men, because Richard, who owns the store, is into his Action Man as an era. I love that Thunderbird 3. It's just epic. It's also very, very large. Bit of Britons there. So this is a real mix. And again, it's a classic example, not unlike Mel's, of a store that sort of spans several eras. Richard's actually a touch older than I am, which is saying something. But that means that he goes a little bit further back than me, but he also covers exactly the same stuff that I would. So, there's a lot of sort of crossover here. A little bit of Scooby-Doo down there. Very, very modern X-Wing. And again, sort of, very sort of die-cast stuff in these nice little display shelves that everybody has, but I don't have. A few vinyls there. I didn't really notice those before, but various books. Not so many comics here, I don't think. Bit of modern Dungeons and Dragons there. A few annuals, certainly. Mr. Grievous there. Classic Star Trek. Some Star Wars and a Slave 1. Star Trek Playmates of various different flavours. Action figure display diorama. I don't know how rare that is. We've got a bit of Buzz up there. Bag of Mice from Mars. All good stuff. All good stuff. I'm just trying to come around to the side. Oh, the face of Thingy What's It. Won't come to me. Bo? Is it face of Bo? Is it? It's Doctor Who. Nice Snow Speeder there. Wouldn't mind a Snow Speeder at some point. They were cool. Grievous's ship. ATST. Still see the Starbird there. A bit of railway paraphernalia there. Not a thing I'm into at all, but obviously it's you see a lot of it around. Now, $6 Million Man, he gets around. Well, I mean, he can run really fast, of course, so that does sort of explain that. A few good old Daleks there, a certain person might like. I think that might have been the sum total of the Doctor Who section. I'm not sure there was much else Doctor Who-esque around. And a few of the sort of sort of lead soldier type figures there. Surprisingly big railway section, actually. There was actually quite a lot of track just kind of lying around, which made me smile quietly, because my dad did try and get me into it when I was little. And we did have a track set up in the garage, I remember, at one point, but that was I didn't really take to it, I don't think. I was more Lego-y. Now, the gratuitous Indiana Jones shot there for a certain Mark of Blue Harvest. I think he's got that guy, but for Star Wars book there. That looks like an original Kenner Han Solo, actually. I didn't notice that. That one on top is... no, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's a reaction one. Don't know. Thunderbird's Fab 1 there. That's the Corgi reissue. A few trains. Yeah, a few more trains. So I'm sure if you wanted, I mean, you know, I do see a lot of this at the toy fairs. You know, trains are definitely still a thing in the toy fairs, but I just don't know whether or not it's a bit of a sort of a dying thing these days. Be interesting in people's comments on, you know, views on that. I just don't know really. But certainly in Bolton, I remember there being well, actually Doncaster as well. There is a big train presence. And Richard was saying he tends to go to Buxton. Now there's G-Force Mark, and I thought that might have been a Jason. He thought it might have been a Jason as well, but unfortunately it was a Mark. A bit more Indiana Jones there as well. I think that's the modern version, isn't it? Marion there. Action Force Snowcat in a box. Again, lots of box stuff. You know, to my mild surprise, quite a lot of box stuff. Such a small store, relatively speaking. It says there's a little fair in Buxton, but I said that's not one I've been to. But he does go to the NEC. He says that's one of the few places he still does an actual stand. So you could see Richard at the NEC, and you may have done recently. I don't know. Some of you did go. I know that much, so that's quite possible. See that comic? There's a 2. When you're a grade 2 comic, can't be that exciting, I assume, given that the grade goes up to sort of 9 odd. But I stand to be corrected. So a few more sort of older annuals and things down the bottom there. And a few more Doctor Who Eagle Moss bits and bats there. Quite a few sort of military models. I think that might be an old JR21 Thunderbird one. I don't immediately recognise that one. So it could be one of those. Action Man, complete with tinfoil outfit. I don't know if that's significant. I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me. Action Man Space Pirate as well. I think I must have been doing this one very slowly, just au naturel. I don't know why. I've slowed it down to half speed, but perhaps I overdid it, or perhaps I was actually talking to Richard quite a lot as I was filming this, so it may be that I was multitasking and failing miserably at doing so. So I apologise if it's too slow and you want me to go faster, but you know, it is what it is. There's an AT-AT's feature there, Risk, Doctor Who jigsaw puzzle by Arrow, I would imagine. Ghost Zapper in a box. A few items of Britons there. Some battered Captain Scarlet. Lord of the Rings. Warhammer, I think. Yeah. Recruit edition. Odd selection of paint there as well, if you were desperate. Now, there will be some more Star Wars coming up shortly once I've panned away from this. Corgi Yellow Submarine. Is that like a calendar for 2088 from the Thunderbirds? Funny. That's cool. So you've got to look up in this place. You've got to look up. So is that the Striker, Action Force Striker up there? Could be. Cobra Maggot. What a delightful name. Various superheroes on the wall there. Hugo, Man of 1,000 Faces. Action Force Various. The Thrush Ray Gun Affair game from Uncle. Marvellous. TIE Interceptor. Stingray Marineville. Indiana Jones Lego up the top there. Just noticed that. TIE Interceptors do look cool. Tempting. Tempting, but I didn't I didn't really get that much from here, but I did fulfill one of my preset assignments, so to speak. So a few original Star Wars figures there. I kind of missed that Tauntaun actually, because he's in the middle of the Lego. Is there the odd Dalek down here? Yes, the Dalek down there, and the that one of those sort of Playmates playset Enterprises down there as well, possibly in a box actually, from the looks of it. He-Man figures, a few Power Rangers, Turtles, He-Man, more Star Wars mini rigs, more Star Wars figures, various, and more mini rigs. Good section of mini rigs actually. Box Dinky and Corgi. And the Joe-90 flying car there as well. And a Shadow 2. SPV. Is that a TIE bomber up there? Possibly. Possibly. Ah, now that car carrier I've got. A few more Doctor Who bits and bobs. Bib Fortuna. Oh, another Indiana Jones figure there actually. In fact, several figures. But I assume those are the modern reaction-y sort of ones, are they? Mark will tell me, I'm sure. Then a few more loose figures there. So that's pretty much the sort of the quick look round. I mean, that is kind of it, but if you ever go there, do look up, because as you can see, there's quite a lot on the higher decks. It's literally floor to ceiling in there. It's really quite impressive. Cheers for now. Right, did pretty well in Leek, but I'm having to dash on to Nantwich now to try and complete my missions, so I'll catch up with you then, and keep tuned for my pickup video from Leek. Cheers for now.